have you noticed that trend recently? Where, like, people will just make their entire existences about getting angry about things. They just make their entire existences about that, from top to bottom. And then they get communities built around them that are echoing the anger, and it's like a bomb that's fuse is always going and never goes off. And it feels like kind of a pathetic way to live, not gonna lie. It really does. It's like when we get those trolls coming in the stream, and they, yell about being mentally ill, or being deranged, or being a lefty lunatic, or any of that stuff, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, do you have a life? Do you have friends? Like, do you have people around you that love and appreciate you and enjoy your company? Because it feels like you kind of don't. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel sad for you. Like, if that's the case, I feel like at the very least, when you go into a Twitch stream, you are, temporary as it may be, you are joining a community of people in a shared activity. For us right now, the shared activity is playing World of Warcraft and trying to survive and trying not to be beer lore or survive heart. People who just fucking died, apparently. Like, I'm gonna be honest, when you hop onto a stream, or anything else, you are, for an amount of time, joining a community of people to be part of a social interaction of some variety. That's what you're doing. You are there for an amount of time, however long that may be, and if you choose in that time to just be a troll, or be hateful, or any of that, that confuses me. I understand playing games like Dark Souls, right? Where the goal of the game is to get better at it. And so when you feel anger and rage and frustration, it's all in service of getting better at the video game. But when you're getting mad at a person on the internet, on a stream, what purpose does it serve? What is being gained there? And I understand that if you feel like you have, like, a moral quandary with someone, like, you get on and you go, hey, you spread hate, and I don't like that, then, yeah, sure. I can understand having the disagreement there and vocalizing your disagreement. Cool. That makes sense. I'm just kind of curious. Does anybody believe that's what's happening with trolls who come in and scream about being mentally ill? Do you think that they have, like, a moral compunction for it, or do you think that it's just abject cruelty for the sake of engaging in abject cruelty? Because I feel like it's the latter. I feel like it's just people who get off on being mad about things. It's like they get their dopamine from anger and not joy. Axo says, I wonder how the fuck they got here, honestly. I mean, I would imagine that some of it is likely, like, finding my channel somewhere on the internet and then coming to the stream as a result. I don't doubt that. And however they came here, I'm happy they're here, even if I disagree with them. But I see that shit in a lot of like community fandom culture as well, where you're a Star Wars fan, but you spend more of your time complaining about Star Wars than you do enjoying Star Wars. Or you're a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, but you spend more time complaining about the franchise than you do actively enjoying it, reading the comics, watching the movies and shows, or playing the games. Like, your entertainment for the medium is not the idea itself. It's not the thing that you're supposedly being entertained by. It's entertainment at the outrage around that thing. Like, if I just fucking mentioned Sonic 06, or Sonic Forces, or Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, I'm gonna get a bunch of Sonic fans angry real quickly. And they've got reasons to be angry. Those video games are bad. But I feel like so many conversations are had about that for no reason. And maybe it's Maybe it's growing up with influences like the Angry Video Game Nerd, where, like, the entertainment was watching a dude crash out over a video game. But then a whole bunch of people started copying that shtick, and I feel like they've taken that shtick and moved it into areas other than video games, and it just feels like it produces miserable people. Just millions of miserable people. Somebody says, I love Warframe. I love it so much I stopped playing it so I wouldn't physically hurt myself whenever I played it. How do you physically hurt yourself when playing Warframe? How does that happen? You need to explain that one to me. How does one physically hurt themselves playing video game? Dave says, I've never watched an Angry Video Game Nerd episode. Okay, I mean, you're cool and special. Simple, I get mad, I displace that anger by doing self-harm. Then the problem's not the video game, the problem is you. You didn't like the way you were punishing yourself when you had tried to engage with a thing you love, so you instead distanced yourself from the thing you loved, which is in and of itself another form of self-punishment. That's also not healthy. Axis says there's also the problem where if you criticize something, you attract bigots who hate the woke DEI in it. I noticed that earlier today. So, like, I was in Lochmadon, and I saw this. Let me show you. I screenshotted this, because it was kind of neat that this happened at all. I took a screenshot from this. This is in the general chat. Right here. I was just out in the world, randomly, and somebody just goes, Suris? Are you that one YouTuber with the weird female thrall avatar? Of course you'd be on WoW arguing about the lore. Because I woke up today, and while I was getting things prepared for my Magic the Gathering content, I went into Lochmadon, and I went and got my Paladin class quest, finished up while I was there. And because I had to walk for a long way in Lochmadon, I looked at the general chat to see what people were talking about, and they were talking about the Warcraft movie. I like the Warcraft movie. I think it's a fun watch. Do I think it's the most lore-accurate thing on the planet? No, not really, but it's accurate enough that the characters are recognizable as who they are, and the events that are depicted in the movie are close enough to what happened that you can get a general idea of what happened. Like, it's fine. Right? Oh my god, people got so fucking angry about that shit. There was one guy in there that just, like, started talking about the different areas where it was different than the lore, and that's why it sucked. And then, after winning the debate in general chat, as it were, the dude just goes, admit defeat. I've won. And I literally go, what in the fedora? What in the fedora is fucking admit defeat? I'm right about the fantasy movie franchise. What kind of sad fucking lonely shit is that? And then, because I was talking in general chat, I got that message about, like, hey, are you that serious? How dare you have a dissenting opinion? Holy Reddit Cheeto fingers. But it really feels like some of these people who are actively playing this game and love it, their experience with things that are around the game is just pure abject hatred. This is why I stopped playing Monster Hunter Wilds. I recognized that my time playing that game was me finding new things about the game that I was upset about, and that just wasn't a healthy way to engage in that game, so I stopped. Anselin says, I can't waste emotional energy like that. It feels so weird. But at the same time, right, I'm saying that from the perspective of a 33-year-old dude, right? I've been on this planet long enough that things like that look weird to me now. But I also remember a time where I did the same thing. I remember a time where I would get on forums and fucking defend the Nintendo Wii. Like I was Nintendo's greatest soldier or some shit. Like Miyamoto himself was gonna come down from on high and just give me a handy for all of the hard work. Hi. Sylvie said, that's why I stopped playing Warframe because I slowly learned I hated it. Okay. Axel says, because the Wii is good. I agree, the Wii is good. The Wii is a good console. It's a fun console. It's got a bunch of games that are really fucking swell. But there are hills that I used to die on There are hills that I used to die on in regards to that system. Like, I remember an argument I had with a friend about Call of Duty World at War, where I was vehement that no, the Nintendo Wii version of the game isn't a lesser version of the game, it's just a different experience. Now, it didn't occur to me that because the biggest achievement of World at War was the Zombies mode, that technically my friend was right. The Zombies mode not being included in the Wii version of the game did technically make it a lesser experience. Like, even with a different campaign, it actively had less content and less of the most engaging content the game could have. But stuff like that didn't matter to me because I couldn't look at things objectively. I liked my thing and I defended my thing, and I died on the hill of defending my thing. So, oh, I'm hearing that our boy Cirrus is growing up. And, like, I'm sure sometimes I'll probably do the same shit. And that's why the PS2 is objectively the best console. No, I disagree with that. Drew Dave says, did they call the wambulance on you, Cirrus? Did it come rushing Wii U, Wii U, Wii U? But even then, I was arguing in defense of a thing that I liked. So maybe I don't actually get it as much as I did. Well, no, I'm a Sonic fan. Never mind, I get it. Enjoying a property merely by hating it is something that I'm not alien to. It just feels like such an exhausting thing to do now, though. Like, of all the pointless things you can engage in, spending your time angry on the internet and arguing in forums instead of doing something constructive feels pointless. Especially when you have options that are far more creative. Like, think of it this way. Which do you think would be more fulfilling? Typing out an angry response to a comment on a Facebook post? Or sitting down and crafting a video essay? Or writing a blog? Or something, like creating something in defense of the thing you like. Not attacking another person, but creating a defense for the thing you enjoy. Which do you think will ultimately not only bring you more joy and fulfillment, but will also just generally be a more positive application of the limited amount of energy you have? Clarikion says, I just want to say Hypersonic. Yeah, Hypersonic, the Gaylord. Access says, I've actually thought about making a video about a combo I saw on Twitter, but I didn't end up doing it. Like, I know, when I think about those things that I get impassioned about, instead of having the argument on the internet more times than not, I just channel that energy into making a video. I channel that energy into being creative about something, and even if I'm spending that time, like, in defense of or criticizing the thing that I don't like, that's the reason I make YouTube videos about the shit that I'm not happy about in the world, as opposed to sitting there and just whining about it on fucking internet forums. I think using that power to be creative is just a better use of my time and energy. In general. I don't know, maybe this video reaches somebody. Maybe it does. Maybe somebody hears it and goes, oh my god, maybe I should stop wasting my time and actually go do something productive. Maybe they will. Or maybe they'll just get mad at me in the comment section, and instead of recognizing the fact that I am quite literally asking you to go do something enjoyable and better with your life, I'm literally asking the best of you, will instead get angry, because for those kinds of people, that's the only way they can get dopamine anymore. I don't know, it's a sad existence. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagittarius, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Sereth, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.